Hare Krishna everyone. Welcome to Srila Prabhupada Book Reading Club. Let's start with the Mangalacharan. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuram Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupam Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Uttapatakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavancha श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहित कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितान् च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गे राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिन इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य दर्शतारिणे हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय। Hare Krishna, please raise your hand so it will be convenient so uh, they can start reading. We have to start from the regulative principles and rules of yoga. So this is our fifth book, Lord Chaitanya, his life and teaching, and it is compulsion to read this book before taking a diksha, because it will give a brief idea about who is the Lord Chaitanya, why he's appeared, and what leelas he performed, and how he started the Sankirtana movements. And we also read in the last two sessions that there is no difference between the teachings of Lord Chaitanya and the teachings of Lord Krishna. And we in first session we also learned that surrender, like Krishna says we have to surrender, but what surrender means actually, what, and what uh, actions we have to take, then we can say that yes, we have surrendered. The first was that accept the favorable condition, second reject the unfavorable condition which are for bhakti, and third believe firmly in a Lord's protection, avashya rakshibe Krishna. Fourth, feel exclusively dependent on the mercy of a Lord. Fifth, have no interest separate from the interest of a Lord. And sixth, one feel oneself meek and humble. And we also learn that there is no difference between name, fame, qualities, and pastime, even a paraphernalia of a Krishna. And then we also discuss about the yoga system. And we also discuss in last session, we also discussed the achinta bheda bhedatva, which means we are equal with the Lord, at the same time we are different from the Lord. So Krishna is a Vibhu and we are the Anu. Krishna is unlimited, but we are the limited. And we also see the one of the a process to get associate with the Krishna is through the chanting. So chanting is also at three stages. First is the offensive stage where we have unlimited material desires, and we try to find the happiness through the material things. Second is a clearing stage where our material desires and whatever material contamination is there, it start clearing. And third is a transcendental stage, which is the pure name. So in which is the this is the highest stage of a perfection of human beings. At this stage we develop the love for Krishna. So yes, now we also discuss now what is the way to always or constantly remember Krishna is that we have to engage our senses and mind in Krishna's service. Hare Krishna, who wants to read?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji, you can start.
The regulative principles and the rules of yoga, the various sitting posture and breathing exercises performed in an attempt to draw one's senses from the sense objects are methods meant for those who are too much engrossed in the bodily conception of life. The intelligent man who is situated in Krishna consciousness does not try to forcibly stop his senses from acting, rather, he engages his senses in the service of the Krishna. No one can stop a child from playing by leaving him inactive. A child can be stopped from engaging in nonsense by being engaged in superior activities. The forcible restraint of sense activities by the eight principles of yoga is recommended for inferior men. Being engaged in the superior activities of Krishna, Mataji, superior consciousness. Superior men naturally retire from the inferior activities of material existence. In this way, our Lord Chaitanya teaches the science of Krishna consciousness. That science is absolute. Try mental speculators try to restrain themselves from material attachments, but it is generally found that the mind is too strong to be controlled and that is drags them down to sensual activities. A person in Krishna consciousness does not run the risk. One has to engage his mind and senses in Krishna conscious activities. And Lord Chaitanya teaches one how to do this in practice. Before accepting sannyasa, the renuncial order, Lord Chaitanya was known as Viswambara. The word Viswambara refers to one who maintains the entire universe and who leads all living entities. The maintainer and leader appeared as Lord Sri Krishna. Chaitanya to give humanity these sublime teachings. Lord Chaitanya is the ideal teacher of life's prime necessities. He is the most munificent bestower of love of Krishna. He is the complete reservoir of all mercies and good fortune. As confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Mahabharata, and the Upanishad, he is the supreme personality of Godhead. Krishna himself, and he is worshipable by everyone in this age of disagreement. Everyone can join in this Sankirtana movement. No previous qualification is necessary. Just by following his teachings, anyone can become a perfect human being. If one is fortunate enough to be attached by his features, one is sure to be successful in one's life mission. In other words, those who are interested in attaining spiritual existence can be easily relieved from Mataji. The clutches of Maya by the grace of Lord Chaitanya. These teachings presented in this book are non different from the Lord. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji.
So, yes, like the yogis, what they do, they control their senses forcefully. Okay, they don't want to do sense gratification. So what they do, they go in the Himalayas, but there also their mind will harass them, and like yes, they harass them. We also see the many examples from our shastras where like they do tapasya for thousands of years, but just by seeing just by seeing fishes or by other animals having having some intimate relationship, they fall down. Even by just by hearing the ankle bells, they fall down. So because they try to control their senses forcefully, but controlling senses through the yoga system, through the through the eight principles yama niyama and all these things. So this is for the inferior people, like who cannot practice the spirituality. But for the devotees of Krishna, they do not control their senses forcefully. What they do, they engage their senses and mind in Krishna's service. And we also seen yesterday, through ears they hear Krishna katha, through mouth they eat Krishna Prasadam and they chant the holy name. Through mind, they also remember the pastimes of Krishna. They remember the Leelas, and like they can meditate upon the whatever lessons they take from the Bhagavad Gita or a hearing, or they use their intelligence not to find the ways how should I make my life more comfortable, or how should I increase my sense gratification, but they use their intelligence. Oh, how can I serve Krishna in more better way? And they use their body in Krishna's service, washing utensil, cooking for Krishna. So like whatever they are doing it for Krishna. So they are not restraining their senses. They are not going in a Himalayas or somewhere and they are simply sitting and just trying to meditate. This is not possible. There is a nature. What is the nature of mind? It will be it will be flickering and it will be goes here and there. Like it cannot, people will say na, mind should be stay at a one point. No, mind is made for made in a such a way, it is manufactured in a such a way, it will move here and there. But but in whatever what is in our hand, like whenever mind moves here and there, we have to pull our mind and engage in a Krishna's service. And like yes, we cannot restrain our senses, like I don't have to eat onion garlic, or I don't have to eat a non-veg, or like I cannot take the wine and other intoxicants, I cannot take the tea and coffee. But like instead of that, we can take the chappan bhogas. Like if you are not preparing at your home, like you are not cooking, like you are simply happy with the dal and rice, and when you are feeding the Krishna dal and rice, then it's your issue. But Krishna says the patram pushpam phalam toyam, so it doesn't mean that we simply have to offer these things only. I hear in one Bhagavatam class, like like you are serving Krishna less than your capacity, it is also offense. So it is not like even you are able to offer Krishna chappan bhoga, but you are not offering, or you can offer many things to Krishna, but you are not offering. Then uh, then it is also offense, and it is not good, na? So there are things now, like you can give up these things, but there are many things, like there are many vegetarian items that you can cook at home. But you have to come out of that comfort zone. Family members will say there will be no life without by following these four regulative principles. But there is much more things. You are simply giving this 4 5 things, but there are thousands of recipes you can try. And we also like engage our body, like people go in a bars and do dance on the Bollywood songs, but we do in a kirtan, and it gives us eternal happiness, and it is also like written in Krishna's diary. So this is the way to engage our mind and control our mind, and like control our senses. Engage simply them in a Krishna service. Every time we have the two choices: engage them in a material sense gratification, or engage them in a Krishna's service. And like if you engage in material gratification, after some time, you will be suffer for the reaction. But when you engage in a Krishna's service, then like it will give you ultimate happiness. It will give it will open the doors of a real knowledge. So yes, so the devotional service is for the superior people, and like following the rules of a yoga, like a niyama, that are for the inferior peoples. So why Lord Chaitanya come? Like Bhagavad Gita ends, what it ends with, like you have to surrender to Krishna. So Krishna come in a form of a Radharani bhava, in a Radharani's complexion, to show how we should surrender to Krishna. What is the actual process? So Lord Chaitanya come here to teach the science of a Krishna, and and like how we have to practically apply. So devotees don't restrain from the material attachment. Even some people give the money to the devotees. Devotee don't say, "Oh, please don't give me money. This are so material. I will fall in a maya." Devotees take that money and engage in Krishna's service. So whatever assets you have, it is given by Krishna. So it's our duty. to engage in a Krishna's service. But Krishna has given us independence. If you misuse that independence, then we will suffer. But if you engage in Krishna's service, if you use our uh, independence properly, then Krishna will take care of everything. So like another name of a Lord Chaitanya is known as a Vishwambhara. Vishwambhara means one who maintains the entire universe, who leads all the living entity. And it is it is accepted by everything, like Lord Chaitanya and Lord Krishna is a supreme personality of a godhead. Even Brahmaji accept, even Shivji accept, all the demigods accept that supremacy of a Krishna. Even literatures like Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Mahabharata, Upanishad, every literature and every Vedic scripture has accepted that the Krishna is the supreme personality of a godhead, and he is the only one who is a worshipable in an age of disagreement. So like everyone will not agree. Krishna is a supreme personality of a godhead. They will say, oh, why you only worship Krishna? You can worship Shiva, you can worship the other demigods Shankara, like a Shiva, and like a Indra or Kubera. So people will say that, but this is the nature of this Kali Yuga. This is the age of a disagreement. They won't agree immediately that Krishna is the supreme. And and there is no previous qualification that when you have to join ISKCON or when you have to join Sankirtana movement. The ISKCON is the continuation of a Sankirtana movement of Lord Chaitanya. So there is no previous qualification. Simply come, chant, and stay happy. And what only one qualification is required when we join ISKCON, that you are following his teaching, you are following Krishna's teaching, or you are following Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teaching, which are given by the Srila Prabhupada. So are you following the teachings of your Guru and Gauranga or not? That this is the simple qualification. If you are following everything, then you can go back to the Godhead. But if you are not following, then we will rot in this material world. So we have the independence. And so by simply following the rules and regulation and simply following the teachings of Guru and Gauranga, our life can our life will be successful. Hare Krishna, who wants to read?
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji, you can start.
Hare Krishna. Being engrossed in the material body, the conditioned soul increases the pages of history by all kinds of material activities. The teachings of Lord Chaitanya can help human society stop such unnecessary and temporary activities. By these teachings, humanity can be elevated to the topmost platform of spiritual activity. These spiritual activities actually begin after liberation from material bondage. Such liberated activities in Krishna consciousness constitute the goal of human begin after liberation from material bondage. Such liberated activities in Krishna consciousness constitute the goal of human perfection. The false prestige one requires by attempting to dominate material nature is illusory. Illuminating knowledge can be acquired from the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, and by such knowledge, one can advance in spiritual existence. Everyone has to suffer or enjoy the fruits of his activity. No one can check the laws of material nature which govern such things. As long as one is engaged in fruitive activities, he is sure to be baffled in an attempt to attain the ultimate goal of life. I sincerely hope that by understanding the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, human society will experience a new light of spiritual life, which will open the field of activity for the pure soul. Om Tat Sat. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, 14th March 68, birthday of Lord Chaitanya, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Temple, New York.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. So what Lord Chaitanya is saying, that we have to stop the such unnecessary and temporary activities. We all know that we are coming here, we are staying here for some time. So after that time, what we are trying to do, like we are trying to find the comfort, and we are like trying to acquire all of comfort. And but where we are staying in a jail. Our first attempt should be that how I can maintain myself, and at the same time, like how I can try to get out of this place, get out of this prison house. That is our like first necessary. Like you have to firstly get out of this material world, so you have to act in the spiritual way. Like your activities should be spiritual, and like everyone has to enjoy and suffer for his enjoy the fruits of his activities. So like even this enjoyment is a so-called enjoyment, it is not a real enjoyment. Like okay, you are feeling happy for some moment, but after some time you will going to die, and you will lose the opportunity to practice the spirituality and go back to the godhead. So even this enjoyment may distract us from the way of practicing spirituality. And our ultimate goal of life is practice the Krishna consciousness and develop the love for Krishna and go back to the godhead, not to rot in this material world. Hare Krishna, anyone wants to read, or Prabhuji, you can continue.
Okay, Mataji.
Hare
Lord
Krishna,
Chaitanya,
Mataji.
his life and teachings.
Yes, Mataji, you can read.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Lord Chaitanya, his life and teachings. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the great apostle of love of God and the father of the congregational chanting of the holy name of the Lord, advented himself as Sri Dhamma at Sri Dhamma Mayapur, a quarter in the city of Navadip in Bengal. On the Falgun Purnima evening in the year 1407, Shakabda, corresponding to February 1486 by the Christian calendar. His father, Sri Jagannath Mishra, a learned Brahmana from the district of Sailet, came to Navadip as a student because at that time Navadip was considered to be the center of education and culture. He domiciled on the banks of Ganges after marrying Srimati Sachi Devi, a daughter of Srila Nilambara Chakravarti, the great learned scholar of Navadip. Jagannath Mishra had a number of daughters by his wife, Srimati Sachi Devi, and the most of them expired at an early age. Two surviving sons, Sri Vishwarupa and Vishwambara, became at last the object of their parental affection. The tenth and the youngest son, who was named Vishwambara, later became known as Nimai Pandita, and then, after accepting the renounced order of life, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited his transcendental activities for 48 years and then disappeared in the year 1455 Shakabda at Puri. For his first 24 years, he remained at Navadip as a student and householder. His first wife was Srimati Lakshmi Priya, who died at an early age when the Lord was away from home. When he returned from East Bengal, he was requested by his mother to accept a second wife, and he agreed. His second wife was Srimati Vishnu Priya Devi, who bore the separation of the Lord throughout her life because the Lord took the order of sannyasa at the age of 24 when Srimati Vishnu Priya was barely 16 years old. After taking sannyasa, the Lord made his headquarters at Jagannath Puri due to the request of his mother, Srimati Sachi Devi. The Lord remained for 24 years at Puri. For 6 years of this time, he traveled continuously all over India and especially throughout southern India, preaching the Srimad Bhagavatam. Lord Chaitanya not only preached the Srimad Bhagavatam but propagated the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita as well in the most practical way. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Shri Krishna is depicted as the absolute personality of Godhead, and his last teachings in the great book of transcendental knowledge instructs that one should give up all modes of religious activities and accept him, Lord Shri Krishna, as the only worshipable God, Lord. The Lord then assured that all his devotees will be protected from all sorts of sinful acts and that for them there will be no cause of anxiety. Unfortunately, despite Lord Shri Krishna's direct order and the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita, less intelligent people misunderstand him to be nothing but a great historical personality, and thus they cannot accept him as the original personality of Godhead. Such men with a poor fund of knowledge are misled by many non devotees. Thus, the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita were misinterpreted even by great scholars. After the disappearance of Lord Shri Krishna, there were hundreds of commentaries on the Bhagavad Gita by many erudite scholars, and almost every one of them was motivated by self interest. Hare Krishna. Oh. Lord Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the self same Lord Shri Krishna. This time, however, he appeared as a great devotee of the Lord in order to preach to the people in general, as well as to the religionists and the philosophers about the transcendental position of Sri Krishna, the primeval Lord and the cause of all causes. The essence of his preaching is that Lord Shri Krishna, who appeared at Vrajabhumi, Vrindavana, as the son of the king of Vraja, Nanda Maharaj, is the supreme personality of Godhead and is therefore worshipable by all. Vrindavana Dhama is not different from the Lord because the name, fame, form, and place where the Lord manifests himself are all identical with the Lord as absolute knowledge. Therefore, Vrindavana Dhama is unworshipable as the Lord. The highest form of transcendental worship of the Lord was exhibited by the damsels of Rajabhumi in the form of pure affection for the Lord. And Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recommends this process as the most excellent mode of worship. He accepts the Srimad Bhagavata Purana as a spotless literature for understanding the Lord, and he preaches that the ultimate goal of life for all human beings is to attain the stage of prema or love of God. Hare Krishna. Many devotees of Lord Chaitanya, like Srila Vrindavana Das Thakura, Sri Lochana Das Thakura, Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami, Sri Kavikaranapura, Sri Prabodhanda Saraswati, Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatana Goswami, Sri Raghunatha Bhatta Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, Sri Gopala Bhatta Goswami, Sri Raghunath Dasa Goswami, and this later age within 200 years, Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti, Sri Baldeva Vidyabhushana, Sri Shyamananda Goswami, Sri Narottama Dasa Thakura, Sri Bhakti Vinoda Thakura, and at last Sri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakura, our spiritual master, and many other great and renowned scholars and devotees of the Lord have prepared voluminous books and literature on the life and precepts of the Lord. Such literatures are all, Hare Krishna, based on the Shastras like the Vedas, Puranas, Upanishads, Ramayana, Mahabharata, and other histories and authentic literature approved by the recognized acharyas. They are unique in composition and unrivaled in presentation, and they are full of transcendental knowledge. Unfortunately, the people of the world are still ignorant of them. But when these literatures, which are mostly in Sanskrit and Bengali, came to light, the world, and when they are presented before thinking people, then India's glory and the message of love will overflood this morbid world, which is vainly searching after peace and prosperity by various illusory methods not approved by the acharyas in the chain of disciplic succession. The reader of this small description of the life and precepts of Lord Chaitanya will profit much to go through the books of Srila Vrindavana Dasa Thakura, Sri Chaitanya Bhagavata, and Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. The early life of the Lord is most fascinatingly expressed by the author of Chaitanya Bhagavata, and as far as the teachings are concerned, they are more vividly explained in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Now they are available to the English speaking public in our teachings of Lord Chaitanya. The Lord's early life was recorded by one of his chief devotees and contemporaries, namely Srila Murari Gupta, a medical practitioner of that time, and the later part of the life of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was recorded by his private secretary Sri Damodar Goswami or Srila Swarupa Damodara, who was practically a constant companion of Lord at Puri. These two devotees recorded practically all the incidents of Lord's activities and later on all the books dealing with the Lord, which are above mentioned, were composed on the basis of Kadachas notebooks by Srila Damodar Goswami and Murari Gupta. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So today we will finish the reading of this first chapter. Tomorrow we will summarize this chapter and start with the second chapter, the advent of Lord Chaitanya. Okay, because yes, we can explain, but we also have to finish the book, and we have to remember the names, like who is the mother of Lord Chaitanya, Sachi Mata, who is the father of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, uh, like Jagannath Mishra. And I was going through the initiation questions yesterday. There we also have to tell the name of the associates of a Lord Chaitanya, which are given there. There are many names are given in one paragraph. So it's always good now read the questions and then go through the books. So Hare Krishna, the those who are come for the book reading, they can leave now. Then now we are doing the Kartik special class, the Mukund Mala Stotra, and we are at a third verse. Karuna Mata, you want to read the verse again? Are you there? Hare Krishna, Karuna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Yes,
Yeah,
Mataji.
you can read the verse again, fourth verse.
Fourth verse. 1 second, Mataji. Okay. नाहं वन्दे तव चरणयोर्द्वन्द्वम् अदन्दं हेतो कुम्भीपाकं गुरुम् अपि हरे नारकं नापते नेतुम् रम्या रामा मृदुतरुलता नन्दनेनापि रन्तुम् भावे भावे हृदय भवने भावयेयं भवन्तम्. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Anyone new who wants to take the reading seva, they can start reading. Or Vinod Prabhu, you want to read, you can start. Hare Krishna,
Go for-
Sujata, one Mataji is there, she wants to read.
Okay.
Mataji, you can start reading.
Sharmila Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
Mataji.
Yeah, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The king also says that the reason he is praying to the Lord is not to be saved from the Kumbhipaka hell. Laborers in gigantic iron and steel mills suffer tribulations similar to those in the Kumbhipaka hell. Kumbhi means pot and Paka means boiling. So if a person were put into a pot of oil and the pot were set to boiling, he would have some idea of the suffering in Kumbhipaka hell. There are innumerable hellish engagements in the modern so called civilization, and by the grace of the Lord's illusory energy, people think these hellish engagements are a great fortune. Modern industrial factories, fully equipped with up-to-date missions are so many Kumbhipaka hells, and the organizers of these enterprises regard them as indispensable for the advancement of economic welfare. The mass of laborers exploited by the organizers directly experience the welfare conditions in these factories. But what the organizers do not know is that by the law of karma, they will in due time become laborers in similar Kumbhipaka hells. Intelligent persons certainly want to be saved from such Kumbhipaka hells and they pray to God for this benediction. But a pure devotee does not pray in this way. A pure devotee of Narayana looks equally upon the happiness enjoyed in heaven, the transcendental bliss of becoming one with the Lord, and the tribulations experienced in the Kumbhipaka hell. He is not concerned with any of them because he is always engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. By the grace of the Lord, even in the Kumbhipaka hell, a pure devotee can adjust the situation and turn it into Vaikuntha. The Bhagavad Gita and all other revealed scriptures say that the Lord accompanies every living being in his localized aspect of Paramatma, the Supersoul. Therefore, even a living being destined to reside in the Kumbhipaka hell is accompanied by his eternal companion, the Lord. But by his inconceivable power, the Lord remains aloof from these hellish circumstances. Just as the sky remains separate from the air, although seemingly mixed with it. Similarly, the pure devotee of the Lord does not live anywhere in this material world, although he appears to live among mundane creatures. Actually, the devotee lives in the Vaikuntha. In this way, the Supreme Lord bestows upon his pure devotees the inconceivable power that allows him to stay aloof from all mundane circumstances and reside eternally in the spiritual world. The devotee does not want this power consciously or unconsciously, but the Lord is careful about his devotee, just as a mother is always careful about her little child who is completely dependent on her care. A pure devotee like King Kulashekara refuses to associate with beautiful, soft skinned women. There are different grades of women on different planets in the universe. Even on the earth, there are different types of women who are enjoyed by different types of men. But on the higher planets, there are women many, many millions of times more beautiful than the women on this planet. And there are also many pleasure abodes where they can be enjoyed. The best of all these is the Nandana Gardens on Swargaloka. In the Nandana Gardens, a garden of Eden, those who are qualified can enjoy varieties of beautiful women called Apsaras. The demigods generally enjoy the company of the Apsaras in the same way that the great Mughal kings and Nawabs enjoyed their harems. But these kings and Nawabs are like straw before the demigods of Swargaloka, which lies in the third stratum of the universe. The inner tendency to enjoy is in the core of every living being's heart. But in the diseased state of material existence, the living being misuses that tendency. The more he increases this disease conditioned state, the longer he extends his period of material existence. The Shastras advise, therefore, that a living entity should accept only those sense enjoyable objects necessary for the upkeep of the material body and reject those that are just for sense gratification. In this way, he will reduce the tendency for sense enjoyment. This restraint cannot be imposed by force, it must be voluntary. Such restraint automatically develops in the course of one's executing devotional service. Thus, one who is already engaged in devotional service need not restrain his senses artificially. A pure devotee like King Kulashekara, therefore, neither desires sense enjoyment nor exerts himself to restrain his senses. Rather, he tries only to engage himself in the transcendental loving service of the Lord without any stop. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So yesterday what we learned is that like we don't ask the like Dhanam, Sundarim and like a lot of followers. Like what the pure devotees ask, like they only ask like, okay, Krishna, you want me to put in a hell? Okay, I'm ready to go in hell. You want me to put in heaven? Okay, I'm ready to go in a hen. Sorry, heaven. And like if you want me to put in some hellish planet, I'm ready to go. Like wherever you want to put me, you can put me. It's your will. I belongs to you. You can do whatever you want to do whatever you want to do with me. But what I want, I only want the one thing, that I constantly remember you at every moment. I should remember you. This is what pure devotees ask. So similarly, we also don't have to ask the material wealth or things which are temporary, which are going to destroy with this body. But what we have to ask the spiritual things. Oh Krishna, give me the remembrance. Or we also go through the prayers now that are so nice prayers. Like we should recite that prayers, and that prayer should be goes in your mind. So at a one time Krishna will listen. We are not that much pure, but we can try to make ourselves pure. So like yeah, so the pure devotees, they have the special mercy of Lord. They can stay in a Vaikuntha, or they stay in a Vrindavana, and but they can come here to reclaim the jivas, the fallen jivas, and they help the mission of Krishna. Like what is the mission of Krishna? Is to reclaim the jivas, because we are here, we are suffering, and no mother or father like to see their children suffering. So they try to bring the back they try to bring them back to home where they can live happily and enjoy everything. But we are currently suffering, so Krishna comes, or Krishna send his representative, Krishna send the spiritual master to reclaim the jivas and take them back to the Godhead. So this line, which I have marked with a blue, this can be our today's meditation. The inner tendency to enjoy is the uh, core of every living being's heart. So we say, okay, I don't want to do sense gratification. Okay, I am Krishna, I am surrendered to you. But in the core of heart, we want to enjoy, because that's the reason we fall down from the spiritual planet to here. And but in the diseased state of a material existence of a living being, misuse that tendency. So okay, we have the tendency to enjoy, and even it Krishna has so we are the part and parcel of Krishna, so we also have some tendencies like Krishna. We also have the same qualities as Krishna, but in small amount. And Krishna has given us independence. You want to enjoy material things, or you want to enjoy the Krishna consciousness things. But when we when living being misuses that, currently we are in a disease stage, disease of this material conditioning, that, and we stay in the illusion that in this world I can stay happily. But this is the illusion, this is the dukkhalayam, this is the temporary place. Here you cannot stay for the long time, or you cannot get the real happiness here. For real happiness to like for the real happiness, for real bliss, you have to go to the spiritual planet. You cannot get here. So, and this point is very important. The more he increases this disease condition state, the longer he extend his period of a material existence. As long as we desire for the material things, we will get the different bodies. Okay, in this life, I want to do a lot of sense gratification. I want a more comfortable life, and I simply wasted my life to getting more and more comforts of this life, and simply in a sense gratification. So this sense gratification things they are like itching, they won't stop, and we simply suffer. So like uh, when there are desires of material happiness or sense gratification, we need to take the another body, and this cycle will continue. So to get out of this cycle, we have to stop desiring material things. We have to we have to take the knowledge, and we have to apply the knowledge. Okay, this like I want to be happy, and I am seeing, okay, if I do this I will be happy, or if I do then after that if I do this then I will be happy. But this happiness, we are simply chasing the happiness. You don't have to chase the happiness here. You will get the flickering happiness. For real happiness, you have to go back to the Godhead. So these are the disease condition na? We are thinking that if I do this, or if I wait patiently I will be happy. No, this is the illusion, and this is the disease stage. So firstly we have to cure our disease through the knowledge, through the hearing, through the chanting. When we hear more, when we chant more, we get purified and our disease get cured. And we seen that analogy na, sugarcane juice. Yes, just because we are having a jaundice, we are not feeling the we are tasting the nectar of Krishna Katha as a bitter, but but if you keep taking this sugarcane juice of a Krishna Katha, then your jaundice will be cured, and like whatever you are tasting bitter now, after some time it will be converted into sweetness. You can able to taste the sweetness of a Krishna Katha. But what Krishna is saying, what we read in the last book, that Kalena, with the patience we have to wait. Like we should have that faith, we should have that patience. Okay, if I am following the four regulative principles, I am following the process. So after some time, when I get pure, everything will be comes. So I will start feeling that nectar, or I can taste the sweetness of Krishna Katha. But we have to wait. And like what is saying that, like we should not restrain from the material, like a material or sense objects. We should engage the senses. You should engage the mind in Krishna's seva. You cannot artificially control your senses, but you can control the senses. And like when you control the senses in Krishna conscious activities, when when you engage your senses in Krishna conscious activities, then there is no fall down. But like instead of this, when you artificially try to control the senses, then there will be fall down. And examples, there are many examples in the shastras. We can go through that. So and uh, uh, enjoyable objects necessary for upkeep of a material body, and reject those just for the sense gratification. So okay, I'm getting enough food, I'm able to maintaining myself. Even if I'm working for 8 or 10 hours, then what is necessary to do the two shifts, or like what is necessary to work for the 18 hours or like 15 hours, and there is no time for Krishna consciousness. So like if you simply waste your life to find the material comforts and enjoy the sense gratification, but at the end, when you leave this body, everything will be stay here only, nothing will come with you. But instead of this, if you work for 8 to 10 hours, give 4 5 hours for Krishna consciousness, and like you take care of yourself, then like there is no loss now. Like you have to live simple, but you have to live in a full knowledge. That simple living, high thinking, but simple living requires a lot of guts. Mm. So yes, we shouldn't waste our life simply in a sense gratificatory things and finding more material comforts. Even if you find more material comfort, you will rot in this material world. Then what is use of that comfort? Instead of that, like okay, I'm having the enough things which from which I can maintain myself, but like remaining time I can engage in Krishna's service. So this is the right approach. And uh, he will reduce the tendency for the sense enjoyment, and restraint cannot be imposed by force, it must be voluntary. So like we have to follow the four regulative principles. You cannot force someone to follow the four regulative principles. It should be come from the inside. Okay, Prabhupada has said, okay, I have to follow the four regulative principles, I have to chant the 16 rounds, so I have to do that. I have to increase my hearing, I have to increase my reading, so I have to do that. So it should be voluntary. Okay, you can get the inspiration from other devotees, or you can you can get some motivation from outer side, but it should be voluntary, it should be from the heart. And but when you are start associating with the devotees who are already doing that, that desires will come, because what we learn with the association, desire and habits come. When we associate with one Mataji who knows very well how to do kirtan, like after some time you will also start liking the kirtan, and you will be very good at kirtan. So that is the thing. Okay, I don't know how to read the books, like get the association of the devotees who are reading the Srila Prabhupada books, and ultimately you will do that. So yes, uh, and like you simply have to follow the process, and when we follow the process, this detachment will come. So like when we are pre-reaching, so firstly tell them you have to read the one page of a Bhagavad Gita, and you have to chant the one round of Hare Krishna. And you simply tell them these two things, and like when they get starting purifying themselves, then they will do all the things. Like firstly, we don't have to tell them you have to follow the four regulative principles, you have to do this and that, like you cannot take the tea and coffee, all these things. You simply have to start chanting, or like if they don't want to read, they can simply start with the chanting, or they can simply start with the reading one page of a Bhagavad Gita daily. like, because to practice the spirituality we need a little pious things, like you need a little satoguna, and like you should have that desire, and it will come when we start chanting. Then our sins start getting nullified. Then like they can start, but in starting only we have to tell them to read one page of Bhagavad Gita and chanting one round. This is the enough, and when they get the purified, they will start following everything. So like everything will, or this detachment will automatically come. You don't have to detach, like, but this detachment will automatically come, this control will automatically come when we start practicing spirituality seriously. So we cannot restrain the senses artificially. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, we can move to the another. And like, what is the only way? Only way to control senses is engaging them in Krishna's service without any stop. And that should be it. And the service should not be mechanical. Service should be with a devotion, and and it should be with a love. Hare Krishna. Karuna Mataji, are you able to read the fifth shloka, or anyone wants to try?
Hare Krishna Mataji. I can read Mataji, but if anyone want to recite, okay Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, you can read, and then anyone wants to recite, they can follow.
Yes, Mataji. नास्ता धर्मे नवसुनिचये नैव कामोपभोगे यद्भाव्यं तद्भवतु भगवान् पूर्वकर्मानुरूपाम् रूपम् एतत् प्रार्थ्यं मम बहुमतं जन्म जन्मान्तरेऽपि त्वत्पादं युगगता निश्चला भक्तिरस्तु. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, anyone wants to recite, or we can move to the purpose?
Hare Krishna,
Mataji, you want to? Yes, Prabhuji.
नास्ता धर्मेण वासु निकयेनैव कमो वा भोगे यद्भाव्यं तद्भावितो भगवान् पूर्व कामनोरूपम् एतत् प्रत्यं मम बाहु मम मतं जन्म जन्मान्तरे अपि त्वद्पादम्बोरुह युह गता निश्चल भक्तिरस्तु.
Mataji, you want to read, or anyone
Can I
wants to
read?
read who
Can I
haven't
read,
read?
Mataji? Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
Mataji. Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Translation by
Hare
Srila
Krishna.
Prabhupada. Srila
Srila
Prabhupada ki jai.
Prabhupada ki jai. Sadar pranam
Yes.
to all. Hare Krishna. Translation. O my Lord, I have no attachment for religiosity or for accumulating wealth or for enjoying sense gratification. Let these come as they inevitably must in accordance with the once again, with my past deeds. But I do pray for this most cherished boon. Birth after birth, let me render unflinching devotional service unto your two lotus feet. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Human beings advance toward God consciousness when they go beyond the gross materialistic life of eating, sleeping, fearing, and mating and begin to develop moral and ethical principles. These principles develop further into religious consciousness, leading to an imaginary conception of God without any practical realization of the truth. These stages of God consciousness are called religiosity, and religiosity, which promises material propensity of various degrees. People who develop this conception of religiosity perform sacrifices given in charity and undergo different types of austerity and penance, all with a view of toward being rewarded with material prosperity. The ultimate goal of such so-called religious people in sense gratification of various kinds. For sense gratification, prosperity is necessary, and therefore they perform religious rituals with a view toward the resultant material name, fame, and gain. But genuine religion is different. In Sanskrit, such genuine religion is called dharma, which means the essential quality of the living being. The Shastras say that this essential quality is to render the eternal service, and the proper object of this service is the supreme truth, Lord Krishna. the absolute personality of Godhead. The eternal transcendental service of the Lord is misdirected under material conscious conditions and takes the shape of one, the aforementioned religiosity, economic development, three, sense gratification, four, salvation, or the attempt to negate all material variegateness out of frustration. Genuine religion, however, does not culminate in either economic development, sense gratification, or salvation. The perfection of religion is to attain complete satisfaction of the spirit soul, and this is accomplished by rendering devotional service to the Lord who is beyond the perception of the material senses. When the living being directs his eternal service attitude toward the eternal supreme being, such service can never be hampered by any sort of material hindrance. Such transcendental service is above even salvation, and therefore it certainly does not aim at any kind of material reward in the shape of name, fame, and gain. One who engages in the transcendental loving service of the Supreme Being automatically attains detachment from the material name, fame, and gain, which are aspired for only by those who do not understand that this name, fame, and gain are merely shadows of the real thing, material name, fame, and gain are uh, are the real sorry merely shadows of the real thing. Material name, fame, and gain are the only perverted reflections of the substance, the name, fame, and opulences of the Lord. Therefore, the pure devotee of the Lord Vasudeva, enlightened by the transcendental service attitude, has no attraction for such false things as religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, or salvation, the last snare of Maya. The purpose of performing real religion is to attain attachment for the hearing and chanting the messages of the kingdom of God. Materialistic people are attached to ordinary newspapers on account of their lack of spiritual consciousness. Real religion develops this spiritual consciousness and also attachment for the messages of God, without which all labor in the performance of the religious rites is only a waste of energy. Therefore, one should not practice religion with the aim of improving one's economic welfare, nor should one use one's wealth for sense gratification, nor should the frustration of one's plans for sense gratification lead one to aspire for salvation or liberation from material conditions. Instead of indulging in sense gratification of different grades with fruits of one's labor, one should work just to maintain the body and soul together with the aim of inquiring into the ultimate aims and objects of life. In other words, one should inquire into the absolute truth. The absolute truth is realized in three phases, namely the impersonal Brahman, the localized Paramatma, and the supreme personality of Godhead. A person who attains the highest stage of spiritual realization of the supreme personality of Godhead, automatically prays as King Kulashekara does here. Only one who renders devotional service to the Lord can attain the stage of indifference to the false and temporary assets of material nature. Such devotional service is not a mental concoction of depraved persons, but is an actual process of God realization characterized by full full cognizance and detachment and based on the Vedic literature. So called devotional practices that have no reference to the rules and regulations set down in such books of Vedic literature as a as the Sruti, Smriti, and Puranas and the practice and the Pancharatras are not bona fide. The self-realized souls advise us to reject such pseudo-devotional practices which simply create a disturbance on the path of the spiritual realization. Only by sincerely engaging in the service of the Lord according to the injunctions of Scripture can one gradually become a qualified devotee of the Lord, and it does not matter whether it takes many repetitions of the birth, death, life after life. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So we can see now like how wonderfully like these purports are written by Srila Prabhupada, and like after 6 or 8 purports they are written by disciple of Srila Prabhupada as a service. But like we can see now like when we read the book, then we will satisfied, okay, why like okay we choose the Mukund Mala Sutra, and like they are really worth to read, we can see the prayerful moods and like how they are enlightening ourselves. So religion, yes, some people do some charity, some they do some sacrifice. They are sacrificing animals, and they are just they are sacrificing animals for their own sense gratification, or they are sacrificing many things. They do different kind of austerities and penances. Like one in a one Bhagavatam class, I hear one thing, austerity is the ornament of a devotees. Like austerity means daily attending Mangalarti, daily chanting 16 rounds at a Brahma Murta, daily reading Srila Prabhupada books, daily hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam books. These are the austerities, like daily following the four regulative principles, trying to stay constantly in the remembrance of Krishna, like remembering Krishna. So these are the austerities. These are the austerities of mind. And what are the austerities? Even I'm sleeping at 11, even I'm sleeping at 10, or even I'm sleeping at 9, I have to get up for a Mangalarti. These are the austerities. Okay, I have to get up early morning, so I have to sleep early. This is the austerity. So one who follow the austerity, like when you hear about Srila Prabhupada disciples who haven't missed a single Mangalarti in a 25 years or even in a 15 years, then we start develop the respect. Or when we come to know, okay, this devotee has read the Srimad Bhagavatam for 10 times or for 5 times, we start developing respect. Why? For what we are developing the respect? We are developing the respect for their austerity, for their penances. So like tapasya, human life is for tapasya. This is what Srila Prabhupada said. So we have to do the tapasya. But when we are living comfortably, we are not taking risk for Krishna, then we are committing some mistakes. Because Srila Prabhupada, Krishna has given you everything. We simply have to put our efforts, but we are we are not putting efforts. So we have to think on this. So yes, people's are people's engage in religions think. Why? Because they want to do more sense gratification. They offer some offer some food or fruits or garlands, or some amount, some money to the demigods, they ask something in return. Oh, please give me this job, give me this house, or give me this car. That's why they do these things. But we are asking a temporary things, and these things will go with the our body. So what is the use of them? And many people engage in a sense gratification, they want to do sense gratification, and for sense gratification we need a material wealth. And for material wealth, they go to the demigods and they say, okay, I'm giving you this, please give me this thing. So we simply do the business with the same demigods. And for what things we are doing business? For the name, fame, and gain. And you know what, these things, they are just a perverted reflections of a as to whatever opulence God have, whatever name and fame Krishna has, they are just a perverted reflection of that. And what is this religions, it is not for increasing our sense gratification, or fulfill the or gaining the more uh, assets, so that we can do sense gratification. But this is not a real religion. Genuine religion is what? This is the dharma, which is the Sanatan dharma, which is the eternal dharma, the essential quality, which is the essential quality of a living beings. And what is the essential quality? What is our nature? Our nature is to render service. So we have the independence to render our service to our senses, our mind, or we have to render our service to Krishna. But when we render our service to Krishna, we will get free from this cycle of a birth and death. And the people, there is a shloka in a Bhagavatam where it say manda sumanda manda bhagyo. Why Kali Yuga people are called as a manda bhagya? Because even they want to practice the spirituality, they get misdirected. There are many cheaters staying in this society. They will cheat them. So they are misguided. Even they are even they want to practice the real religion, they get misdirected by the aforementioned religiosity. I don't know the meaning of this word. Anyone, if anyone knows, they can put it in our group, or I will consult some seniors. Second is a economic development, and third is a sense gratification, and fourth is a salvation. Okay, you try very hard for material sense gratification, and you don't get it, or you get everything, so you get frustrated, and out of frustrated, you simply want to get liberated. So this by these four things, who wants to practice the real religion, they get misguided. So what is the perfection of religion is that attain the complete satisfaction of a spirit soul by rendering service to the Lord. Okay, we want the satisfaction, but like when the complete satisfaction will come, when we start rendering loving devotional transcendental service to the Lord, and which is the beyond this material senses. So but when we engage our material senses in Krishna's service, with the time, like whatever comes in a Krishna's contact, it start getting Krishnatized. Like this material senses will be converted into the spiritual senses when we start getting purified, and Krishna will start accepting our services. And like what should be our attitude? Our attitude should be master or controller attitude, or our attitude should be a service attitude. We should always have a service attitude, because what we say, we are the dasanu das, we are the servant of 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 the Krishna. So like we are the servant of this, like a servant. So what kind of master you are, like why do you have that controlling attitude? We should have the service attitude. So yes, and like what is the purpose of a performing real religion? When we perform the real religion, we will develop the attachment for the hearing and chanting the messages of Lord Krishna. So and yes, and when we are practicing one religion, where we are not developing attachment for the hearing and chanting of the holy names, and for Nam Roop Leela of Krishna, then it is a simply waste of a time. So even you are practicing for many years, but you haven't developed that taste for the hearing and chanting, it means you are not spiritually advanced yet. When you are spiritually advanced, you will start developing taste for the hearing and chanting. And even it will be waste, otherwise it will be waste now. So nor should one use one's wealth for the sense gratification. Why Srila Prabhupada is saying that, okay, you are doing the economic development, it's good. You are doing economic welfare, it's good. But it's only good when you are engaging your wealth in Krishna's service, because Lakshmi is a servant of a Narayana. He is a wife of a Narayana. So we have to engage the Lakshmi in a Narayana service. And when there is no Narayana, when you are not using the Lakshmi in Narayana's service, then Lakshmi become a chanchala. Your intelligence will be bewildered, and you will use your wealth in destroying yourself. And when you use our wealth in our sense gratification, we will start developing more sensual, that urge will increase, because by fulfilling desire or urging more material things, it's like pouring the ghee in a fire. The more you pour ghee, the fire will increases. So when you try to do sense gratification, your sense gratification level will increase with the time. So you want to take the new bodies, but when we are taking new bodies, then we will lose the chance to go back to the Godhead. We simply rot here in this material world. So it's better to engage whatever you have. It is given by Krishna. It is not earned by you. It is given by Krishna to you, and you have to utilize in Krishna's service, not in your sense gratification things. So one should work just to maintain the body and soul together, with the aim of inquiring to the ultimate aims and objects of life. In other words, one should inquire into the absolute truth. And this life is like a train journey. You cannot you don't when you are traveling in a train, you do not decorate a train, or you do not gather the many material things in a train, because na, at when your stop will come, you have to get out of this world, get out of this train. And you also know, I am sitting in the train, I only the buy the purchase, buy the ticket, but this train don't belong to me, this seat don't belong to me. With the same consciousness, we have to stay in this material world. We are staying in this material world. Whatever assets you got, it is given by Krishna, and we have to utilize it in Krishna's service. And I don't have to gather many material things. I don't have to seek them much material comforts, because when my stop will come, I have to get out. And at that stop, then Krishna and Yamaraj will check na, what consciousness you are doing all the activity. You want to enjoy your senses, or you are only boasting as a devotee, but inside you want to enjoy the things. But if your consciousness is that I every time I have to serve the Krishna, then and then like Krishna will take you to the spiritual world. But if you have the desires to enjoy the sense gratification, then like Yamraj will give you punishment and you again born in a different bodies, like which can be a lower species also, where you cannot practice the spirituality. So we have to understand the seriousness of this. We are a traveling, okay, we are not coming here to stay. This is the temporary, this is not the permanent. So don't stay comfortable here. And the only solution is practicing spirituality. So like actual process is that like you have to follow the rules and regulation, like and when in any religion, when there are no rules and regulation, then that means it is a pseudo devotional practices, they are not real practices. So we have to follow the rules and regulation, we have to chant the holy name, we have to hear the glories, and we have to read the Srila Prabhupada books. And like our real advancement is the check when we develop the taste for the hearing and reading Srila Prabhupada books, and when we develop the taste for when we develop the taste for a chanting and hearing the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam or Krishna. So that is, so today can stop here. Tomorrow we'll start with the sloka 6. So Hare Krishna everyone. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्य वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय. श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय. Hare Krishna Mataji and Prabhuji. Happy Teachers Day. Happy
Hare
Father's Day.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Rama
Mataji.
Ekadashi.
Mataji.
Dhanyavad.
You know,
Happy
this is the
Mataji.
Ekadashi in
Hare
the
Krishna,
Kartik
Mataji.
month. So
Yes.
like we don't have
Happy
to
Rama
waste our
Ekadashi.
time. We have to engage in Krishna's service. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare
Happy
Krishna.
Thank you,
Ekadashi.
Mataji. Hare Krishna.